It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
I want to welcome to the program State Representative John Eubanks is on the line. Mr. State Representative, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Paul?
I'm doing good. Now, you're the state representative from District 74, so why don't you tell our audience the geographic boundaries of District 74?
Well, it's in west central Arkansas. It is all of Logan County, one precinct in Franklin County, southern Sebastian County, and northern Scott County. So it's a fairly good size geographically.
Yeah, that is. Well, hey, I wanted to have you on because of this bill that I've been following of yours, HB 1251. And what can you tell us about this? It has to do with the expanding scope of practice for the profession of optometry.
That is correct, and it's apparently getting a lot of attention and is creating a little controversy. The bill is actually pretty simple. It's going to allow optometrists to, on a very limited basis, expand their scope of practice into areas that they are currently being trained to do at their College of Optometry. They practice on patients. They are able to practice these procedures in 3 states that are surrounding Arkansas: Oklahoma, Louisiana, and Kentucky currently. Alaska is currently writing they passed the legislation also and are currently writing their rules and regs.
So this is, you say it's generating some controversy. From who?
Well, the ophthalmologists and the medical society appear to object. They think it's an encroachment into their field. They're contending that the optometrists are not adequately trained to do that, and I think from the history of what has been taking place, that is not true. Oklahoma has been allowing optometrists to perform these minor, non-invasive procedures for over 20 years. Kentucky has been allowing that to take place for approximately 8. Louisiana, I think approximately 4 years now. There are other states that are going to be having legislation filed this year as well. So, like I said, I think these are minor, non-invasive procedures, and I'm a little disappointed that the ophthalmologists and the medical society are putting up such a fight to prevent this.
Well, yeah, from my understanding, ophthalmologists, they think they kind of have the market cornered anytime you use the word surgery around the eye. But this is not the type, like you were saying, these are not the type of procedures that are, very invasive. These are non-invasive, procedures that optometrists are already, here's the thing, they're already trained to do. And so what this comes down to me, State Representative Eubanks, is about giving the public a choice, giving the public more choices, more options. Yeah, sure, an ophthalmologist can do this, but so can an optometrist. So I don't see what the big deal is. What are they afraid of?
I really don't know. The first person that a person goes to see when they are seeking eye care is your optometrist. Optometrists currently have full-time offices in 80% of the counties. Ophthalmologists only have full-time offices in about 30% of the counties. So this is an access issue for a state that is very rural. We have a lot of elderly people. Ophthalmologists contend, well, they can be, everybody is within 60 minutes of an ophthalmologist. Well, that may be true, but that can be a hardship for a lot of our people in this state.
Well, so can you tell me what kind of minimal procedures are we talking about here? Can you just give me an example?
You bet. And these procedures all take place in the office. They don't require any general anesthesia. There's actually 5 procedures. 2 of them, well, let me start with one has to do with what they call the removal of benign lesions. A lot of people like to say lumps and bumps that surround the eye. The other one deals with injections. And then there's 3 minor laser laser procedures, 2 that deal with the treatment of glaucoma, and 1 has to do with a procedure that takes place, if needed, after cataract surgery. And the cataract surgery, of course, is something that ophthalmologists would perform.
Okay, so, we're not talking, because I see a part in the bill that it still says, listen, a licensed optometrist shall not perform the following types of ophthalmic surgery, like retinal laser procedures, things like that. Like, they're still in this bill saying, hey, look, this is stuff that ophthalmologists do. This is just minor stuff that can be done, like you said, in the offices of an optometrist. And again, they're already being trained to do it, and other states already allow them to do it. And so I think what we're seeing here, John, is anytime, a lot of times with these professions, anytime there's a potential for a competitor to come in and offer the same service, people start to think that they might lose money. I mean, is that maybe what some of their fear is? Are they afraid that there might be some ophthalmologists that lose money because the optometrists are able to provide the service now?
I don't know that I want to speculate necessarily on what their reasons are, but it would certainly make you think that the bottom line is part of the driving reason for their objection to this.
Yeah.
Like I said, Oklahoma's been doing this for 20 years, and without any incidents there, or in Kentucky, so they're putting out horror stories about people going to go blind, and that they're going to not be able to provide the care that our citizens need and require. So like I said, I'm a little disappointed that the opposition on this is saying and doing what they are right now.
Where is this bill right now in the process?
Well, right now, this bill cannot be run in committee until Scope Week, which is the chairman announced was going to be the 18th of February. So that Tuesday the 19th will be the first day. Now, rules require that this bill was filed by the deadline, which it was, and also the rules require that you cannot amend it for 15 days. So right now it's just sitting there, allowing people to study it and examine it, and if they have any questions. Now, if I suspect that if something was to come up before the bill runs, that where it could be amended, it would have to take place at a future date right now.
Right. Well, yeah, it's also plenty of time for the other side to get their talking points together and come up with these horror stories as you described them, State Representative Eubanks. And, hey, full disclosure, I want everybody out there to know that my father is, in fact, an optometrist. So, just take that for a grain of, take that for what it is. I wanted to make sure I be transparent with you all. But
I too want to be transparent, and I am not an optometrist. I have no financial interest in any business of a medical nature, and I have no direct or indirect relations in the state that are connected, that would benefit from this legislation.
Well, hey, and I appreciate you saying that, State Representative Eubanks. In today's climate, that certainly is refreshing. But, hey, this bill is just about allowing optometrists to do what they are already doing in other states, what they're trained to do. And I appreciate you bringing this bill, you being the lead sponsor on it, be willing to take the heat, because what this is about is more choices and giving people more freedom to choose. And I really appreciate you coming on the program and talking about it with us this morning.
And Paul, I'd like to just make one other point. This is an attempt to keep Arkansas competitive. Recently, we had 15 graduates and from the state of Arkansas, and 20% of those have decided to practice in Oklahoma because they can practice everything that they've been trained to do. Wow. So I'd like those people to be coming back to the state of Arkansas and practicing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And, of course, that's what we need, like you were saying, in the rural districts and everything else. We have underserved populations. State Representative John Eubanks, I appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you.
All righty, folks. The bill number, again, that's HB 1251. Your sponsors there in the House, again, obviously State Representative Eubanks there, but then you have Representatives Miller, Brown, Christensen, Dan Douglas, Representative Evans, Holcomb, Jett, Lynch, Petty, Brandt Smith, S. Smith, Vaught, Watson. On the Senate side, Senators Dave Wallace, Bart Hester, Senator Ricky Hill, and Senator Jason Rapert. So, it's got some broad support in both of those chambers there. Now it's, like he said, it's got to sit until what they call scope week. We were just talking about how the scope, it's really hard to get anything. That's what you're seeing. We were just talking about Senator Missy Irvin's bill to set up like another firewall, a health care council to try to make it harder. They're not going to say that on its face, but the idea is to try to make it harder to get scope of practice bills passed, to kind of undo this monopoly. The status quo is not always necessarily a good thing. In terms of licensing, it's not always about public safety. It's about protecting your nut. It's about protecting what you've got.